How are you doing, humans? Well, it's officially supposed to be rainy season over here, so it's been tanking it down for the past few days. And I've really been wanting to make this video, so it's sunny, so here we go. So this is a brand new channel. Most people are going to be seeing me for the very first time. On this channel, I'm going to be saying some pretty out there stuff, and some brutally honest stuff. I'm going to be holding absolutely nothing back at all, making some seemingly outlandish claims, and generally being a polarising figure, same as I've always been, really. So if you're not into that, please feel free to watch something else. You don't have to watch this. But if you do stick around, the info that I'm going to be sharing on this channel and other places could possibly help save your life, or the life of someone you care deeply about. So, who the hell is this guy in the rose-tinted spectacles, and why the hell should you listen to anything that he's saying? So, my name is Rob Jones, and for the past couple of years, my mission is to help people heal on a soul level. Just like I've healed myself, and just like I've had the absolutely massive privilege of helping to heal many other people now at this point. So before we get into that, I'm going to give you a little bit of context. So, some might say I was born under a bad sign, Halloween 1980, and I started taking mind-altering substances at the age of 13. The first thing I ever took was LSD, and did it just do that? Wow. But it was a lot of fun. To the point where I used to take it on my own, go deep within myself and just sit there for hours and hours on end. But this eventually led me down a path that was pretty much darker than Jimmy Savile's diary, which subsequently led to a lot of other worse things that were far more sinister and not fun at all. And that stopped my emotional growth dead in its tracks, and eventually put me on a path that would destroy me 1,000 ways. Because by the age of 15, I was a full-blown heroin addict. I lied, I cheated, I stole, I pretended my way through life. And from that point on, it just got worse. Running away from my own problems, on and off for 25 years. So suffice to say, I've been there, seen that, done it, worn the t-shirt, sniffed the t-shirt, injected the t-shirt, and all the while being dominated by a massively overinflated ego that was completely out of control. And if there was a bet on who'd die before 40, who'd end up in prison, I was that guy, you know, the worst of the worst. The one you warn your parents, you know, the one the parents warn the kids about, the one you tell your daughter never to bring home, the so-called friends that, you know, nobody could trust with your stuff, your money, especially your missus. Almost all my adult life, I tried to love people from a really kind of wounded, negative place, with no emotional equity whatsoever, no love for myself, nothing in the emotional piggy bank. But now I'm a bit older, I'm a little bit wiser, and I realised what I really was trying to do was to heal my own really deep wounds through kind of rescuing other people. I had what's called the rescuer syndrome. But it's like the equivalent of someone who's been divorced 10 times or more trying to give marriage advice to newlyweds. And all the time I wondered why the same chaos, the same toxic people kept showing up in my life, just wearing different frocks with different faces, basically. Years and years of drug taking eventually hijacked my fight or flight response. So, you know, I had pretty much zero control over my actions, but I was desperate for peace, absolutely desperate for peace. I tried rehab multiple times, went to NAAA. I did the 12 steps in literally almost as many countries with, you know, no exaggeration. Followed extremely bad advice from people who were just as emotionally bankrupt as I was, all the while hanging on to, you know, a really, really greasy, slippery cliff for dear life, with my hands covered in butter, knowing that the fall was coming at some point. And then a few years ago, the first woman that I ever truly loved, the first person that I ever truly felt safe with, took her own life, and that broke me into 1,000 pieces, and I descended into the worst spell of heroin addiction that I've ever experienced. I gave up completely on myself, poured petrol all over my own life and lit the match, and I thought I knew what pain and destitution was before, but I learned something vitally important. No matter how bad you think things can get, it can always get a lot worse. And it did. I mean, I'm ashamed to admit it now, but I tried to overdose deliberately in some kind of weird, messed up, twisted Romeo and Juliet fantasy, if you like. I didn't tell anyone, didn't leave a note, I just did it. I took a lot, enough to kill a small elephant, really. Woke up 8 hours later, blue lips, cold body, pulse almost gone. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I just saw literally a red-eyed corpse staring back. Someone who just looked like just been fucking dug up, barely recognisable. And by rights, I should have been dead. But sure as shit, there I was, looking at myself. And in that moment, I made a promise to myself, or whoever, I don't know what you subscribe to, but whoever, whatever was listening, that if I was still alive, there must be a reason. And I vowed to find out what it was. Now, since that day, I've dedicated my entire life, literally, to something entirely different than getting off my head. Self-discovery, self-improvement, healing my mind, my body and my soul, and finally becoming the best version of myself that I possibly can. But here's the truth, and you will only ever get the truth from me. I went against the advice of doctors, family, friends, anyone I've spoke to, really. You know, how are you going to cure drugs with more drugs? I tried their way for years, it didn't work, so I took it into my own hands. I put my life under a microscope. I wrote down all the reasons that my life was totally messed up, and there were a lot. And I did a complete 180 on every single one of them, and I ain't stopped since. And for the first time ever, I could finally help others and love others from a real place of love, compassion, integrity, not from ego, not from lies. And this shift only happened when I ripped off the mask and got really brutally honest with myself. When I stopped lying, basically, because I told so many lies. I just wanted people to like me, you know. I didn't feel like I was enough. Now, I've been studying a plant medicine called ibogaine since 2017, which is the first time that I took it. Working with it, learning everything I could about it. But when my missus died, I realised the truth about it. Now, the truth is, it's not a cure. It is the most powerful interrupter of addiction, trauma, negative thought patterns, ADHD, etc., etc., known to man. But if you don't change the way that you live after you've had the treatment, it's only a temporary fix. So that's why in the coming months, what I'll be sharing with you in these videos and in other places is repeatable, easy to follow, step-by-step processes that anybody can use to rebuild their own lives too. If you are in a mess, if you are in a place where this resonates with you, and if literally a lifelong degenerate like me can turn it around, anyone can. So once I got myself into a position where I could function as part of society again, I sought out mentors in all the places where I was completely bankrupt. And I'm not just talking, financially bankrupt, which I was. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about emotional balance, temperance, spirituality, business acumen, financial savvy, and obviously, of course, how to treat people very safely with ibogaine. Basically, all the things that I thought that I knew everything about, but I actually knew nothing. In fact, I didn't know what I didn't know. And with the help of these mentors, combined with a lot of failure, and a lot of perseverance, and a lot of hard work, I went from living on a knackered mattress on my mate's spare bedroom floor to living by the sea in a beautiful foreign country in a very, very short space of time, relatively. And to be honest with you, I still pinch myself at how fast it all come together. But as a result of this, I now know these things to be true from actually walking the path. The same path that I said I'd walk 1,000 times in 1,000 kitchens at 5 o'clock in the morning, rolling up a £20 note while simultaneously giving unsolicited advice to people who'd listen. and they say multitasking's bollocks. But seriously though, nothing changes until your mind, body and soul are right. And once this actually happened, and I realised that the reflection of your outer world is the outer world is a complete reflection of your inner world, I reverse engineered the process and I pulled all of the best bits from, science, ancient wisdom, shamanism, pharmacology, psychology, Eastern medicine, neuroscience, energy healing, relationship dynamics, visualization, subconscious reprogramming, movement, exercise, even writing stuff down with a pen and paper. And I turned it into something repeatable, accessible and practical that literally anybody can follow and get the same results that I have. And what's the most important thing of all, I've now helped many others walk on the same path, and I've got proof and I've got data to back it up. So on this channel and in the videos to come, you'll get real, authentic, honest info. You can apply to your journey on the spot and get really, really fast results. But soon, within the next couple of months, there's going to be a place where you can go to access the full process, which will be like something step by step you can follow, that's repeatable, accessible, and that somebody, no matter what point of the journey they're on, you'll get something from it. And again, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'll be creating a community where you'll meet people like us, like me, like maybe like you if you're watching this, from all over the world to hold each other accountable. You'll break down limiting beliefs. You'll be able to build new, healthy, lasting habits, create new friendships, all while creating worthwhile goals. Even if it's just getting your mojo back, you'll finally feel comfortable knowing you're okay just the way that you are. You're exactly where you need to be, and you'll be able to fill your own cup to overflowing so that you can give people a drink from it. And that is one of the most overlooked, underrated, and important principles in life. Like when a plane's going down, put your own oxygen mask on first before you even help the kids. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So if you need help or advice on how to take ibogaine properly, safely, buy it without getting ripped off, but most of all, if you need help getting your life back on track, especially if you were like me, a lost cause. Many considered me a lost cause. Many of my close friends and family given up on me. Please get in touch. I've helped a lot of people at this point who've given me permission to share their journeys. So let's talk. If you're in a place where you've completely had enough, or if anything that I've said at all in this video resonates with you in any way, or you think you might know somebody like that who'd benefit from a confidential chat, send me an email. We'll book a call in and we'll have a talk. But expect a lot more of these, a lot of science, a lot of spirituality, a lot of the same. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.